Okay, now I'm going to show you one of our absolutely biggest time savers, and that is our proof actions that we have set up. If we go down here into the vGallery proof actions, you'll see several different actions. And the very first ones are fit to actions, which basically do your sizing for you. And there's three different ones that I have set up and have included in here. And they're basically set up to cater to most projectors for projecting sales. And you have the standard 1024 by 768, which is standard native resolution right now for many projectors. But two more common resolutions that are coming out and becoming more and more popular are 720p, which is probably the most common right now, and 1080p, which is 1920 by 1080. That's basically true HD. These projectors are a little bit more expensive, but the prices are dropping all the time. So what I'm going to do is basically show you that you can just use these actions up here to first fit your images to a size that's appropriate for your projectors. So you're not using these gigantic files. These files that I have open right now are raw files, or at least converted TIFFs from raw files right out of the camera. No work has been done to these. These haven't been retouched or anything. The only thing I think that may have been done to them is in Lightroom we bumped the saturation and contrast both about 5 points maybe, and that's about all we do generally to an image before it's converted. But now that these images are open, what I can do is a couple different things. I only have 3 of them open, but it wouldn't matter if you had 300. The point is you can work with gigantic amounts of images and run an action on all of them to do what you want to do. And if I want to get all of these ready for projection on a projector that projects 1024 by 768, and I have all the images open, I can go to File, Automate, Batch, and you can pick your set vGallery proof actions. The action fit to 1024 by 768. That 100 means at 100 dpi. I wouldn't have to go bigger than 72, but I do in case I'm using them in a slideshow where they're going to be panning a little bit back and forth. In that case, you do want to make your images bigger than 72 dpi to account for any panning they may do towards the camera, like using a Ken Burns effect or something like that. If you don't, you might see some pixelation. So I bumped the resolution just a little bit. My source is going to be open files. I could choose any folder that I wanted to, or I can import them in or use the file browser. But in this case, I just want these 3 images that I have open. I also have the option to throw them into another folder when I'm done, but I'm just going to keep them open. So I'll hit OK. It'll run the fit to action on all 3 of these. But again, it wouldn't matter whether there was 3 or 300. It would do the same thing. So this is one of those things where you can just run that action and then walk away from your computer. Again, you can also create droplets with these actions like I showed in the droplet video and have these in a folder somewhere or even on your desktop and just take entire folders of images and drop them on the droplets. But then after I have them all fit to what I want them to be, I'll open this back up and then you'll notice that there's several different proof actions down here. There's 6 more. There's 2 color, 2 black and white, and 2 brown tone proof actions. And the reason there's 2 is because each one of them either includes a vignette or doesn't include a vignette. And you'll notice that with this image here, it's a high key image, and I don't want that vignetted. So these 2 color images, I'll run a color proof on this one with a vignette. So I'll choose that one, that action. I'll hit play. And then you'll notice what it does is it creates a vignette and it pops the color a little bit. It also makes it a little bit softer. Okay? So basically, that's my image out of the camera. Well, let me show you what it looks like after it's smaller. So that's my image out of the camera after it's smaller. And then this is my image after it's flat. It's actually been soft and then it has an unsharp mask thrown on it as well. So the wash is gone, but there's an overall kind of a soft look to the image. Let's see, I'll go back and forth again from that to that. And then I'll do the same thing over on this image, but this time, rather than a color, I want to do maybe a brown tone. Brown tone proof with a vignette. And I have a stop thrown in here that says, before you run this action, I'd recommend proof sizing your imagery with one of the 3 fit to actions included. I would also recommend deleting this stop and running this action as a batch. So it's basically just reminding you to use a fit to and size your image before running the action, so you don't do it on the full-size image. So I'm going to run this brown tone proof, and it's also going to throw a little vignette on there for me. But basically, again, you can do this to 300 images and walk away from your computer. And then the work is done for you when you come back. Now this image, I'm going to do a color proof with no vignette. So I'll hit play, and it's got the warning in there. So I'll hit continue. It'll run the action for me. And really what it does is it just pops the colors a little bit on the high key images and gets rid of that wash. It goes from there to there. So you don't see a huge difference, but it is definitely noticeable, and it just makes your images that much better from an automated standpoint, so you don't have to sit at the computer and do this to each one. It doesn't change them too much, but it changes them enough just to make your proofs look that much better for your clients to come in and look at. Again, you can set up droplets for these and make them extremely automated. You can even put save as commands within the actions and have, like I have on my desktop, a resized folder here. So I can do a save as action and have a folder in here that says color proofs or brown tone proofs or black and white proofs. And then within the action, those proofs are saved in that folder. So then I'm not affecting the original files. I can then pull them out of that folder and put them back into my client's folder, and I have a folder of proofs, and the originals haven't been affected. They're ready for the client to see, and they look much better than they do just right out of the camera.